Yeah, Game Club.
Yep.
Each week, we talk about a game.
Yes.
A singular game. And we talk about it for multiple weeks in a row.
Yes.
That game is Plague Tale Requiem. We played the first Plague Tale, wrapped it up, and now we're wrapping up the second one.
Yeah, I don't know how long this one is, but this was chapter 10?
Yeah, it's the same amount of chapters.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's 18 chapters, just like, or, 17 or 18, somewhere around there.
Okay.
I just looked it up to see how long we were going to be playing it for.
Oh, yeah.
Not that I care how long we're going to be playing it for, because it's a good game.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, I will preface this by saying my PC died.
Oh, yeah, right. Well,
it
was acting weird.
It was acting weird. I got almost all the way through it, what I perceived to be almost all the way through the chapter. But, like, going into the middle of the chapter and wandering around the open areas, I was like, wow, my frame rate's awful right now. Yeah. It's just dying at this area. Like, this is poorly optimized. Just kidding. It's not poorly optimized. It's my CPU was overheating and throttling itself down. And I was like, what? Because I went and I rebooted it because I was like, I can't play like this. I can't do this little combat sneaking section with getting 4 frames. So I rebooted, and when I rebooted, my BIOS was like, hey, your CPU's too hot. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh,
what's going on?
That's not good.
And I went into the system, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's at 99 degrees right now. That's why it's not working. I'm like, okay, so what the hell's wrong with my CPU cooler?
Oh, damn.
So I'm going to have to pull that apart this week and figure it out. But then I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'll just play downstairs.
Yeah.
So I went downstairs where we are now. I sat in this very chair that I'm currently sitting in, and I loaded up Game Pass, and I installed the game, and I let it do the updates. I let it do the thing where it syncs my cloud saves. I loaded it up, loaded my save game, crash. Just straight to desktop. No crash report, no nothing. Just straight to desktop.
Damn.
Did it another couple times. Same thing. As soon as I load the game and load my save game, it just crashes right to the desktop.
Crazy.
Every time.
That's not good.
So I was unable to get all the way through, but from talking to you, you said there's probably like 10 minutes left.
Yeah,
on what I had gotten
it's
through.
All like a little bit of story beats and everything like that.
Yeah. So this
Nothing
whole
too crazy.
Yeah, this whole chapter was essentially zero combat, zero action storyline.
There was zero combat.
Explore this little area.
It was just the only thing was a little bit of sneaking.
It's a large area.
Yeah, it was a big area. I was surprised how much space there was around, like to go looking around and everything. The chapter starts off, we're in the palace. We're like, let's go on an adventure. So we leave. Sophia's right outside this palace gates. She's like, I'll come with you. And we're like, all right, sounds good. We find a little phoenix statue, and Hugo's like, oh, it's looking over there. Oh, I see another phoenix statue. Let's find the birds, Amicia. So that's the main thing of this chapter, is to follow the birds through the level. But there's all these little side areas you can go to and, check out. You'll go down this way and be like, oh, there's an olive tree that Hugo can say he loves the olive tree too and stuff like that.
So right off the bat, birds pointing one way. I'm like, okay, that's the way we're supposed to go. I'm not going that way. Yeah. I went the opposite way, and I explored all of that area over there. I wrapped all my... Okay, and then I'm like, okay, well, I've explored everywhere. I don't know where the hell I'm going. So I go back that way towards where the bird's pointing. And I'm like, oh, it's just going to ping pong me all the way back to where I just was.
Yeah, basically. I didn't go off the beaten path. I followed the bird. I figured I'll follow the bird, and if I see something along the way, I'll go check it out. So that's what I did. I would go stop next to every house and like listen to their little story or whatever. And like, there's a woman talking about, rubbing flowers into your clothing so you smell like lavender all day long, and this, that, and the other thing. Finding a lot of loot as I went.
Yep.
Lots of parts and stuff like that, which was good. I found a lot of parts in this level.
Yes.
Like a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually we get to a part where there's 4 windmills on a hill. Did you go up to the windmills?
Yeah, I didn't figure out the puzzle, though.
So I accidentally figured out the puzzle. So
I was getting 4 frames a second, and I was like, frig it, I'll just get through this track, get out of this area.
Yeah. There's 4 windmills, and they each have, you can get into them by, breaking a lock to get in or whatever. And each one has a little brake to turn off the windmill, right? So the first windmill is off, and you can start it. And then all the other ones are on. So, I was doing that. And then I saw this archway down where you can go into this little hole in the ground. And you go under the archway, go into the hole. And then if you go all the way down to the end of the hole, there's like this stone wall with a carving of a windmill on it with other symbols and shit. Couldn't really tell what was going on.
Neither could I.
So I left and, I go through the windmills, turned on the first one and left all the other ones running. And then as I was leaving the area, I was streaming it, and Kilikopowski was like, hey, the windmills, there's something with the windmills there. Like, maybe if you turn them off or whatever, something will happen. Because when I was in the underground and looking at the stone wall, I'm like, oh, there's scratches all over the ground. This thing must slide or something like that.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, interesting. So I was like, well, let me turn off all the windmills. So I go through and I turned off all the windmills. No, wait, how did I do it? Yeah, I think that's what I did. I turned off all the windmills and I was like, whatever. Let me go look downstairs. Nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
So now I was like, it's still closed. So for whatever reason, I went back up and I just was like, oh, I started to turn them all back on.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with the very right one. I turned that one back on, and I started the next one, turned it on, and then all of a sudden it says like, you hear like a sound in the distance, and then Hugo's like, oh, I heard a sound, but it wasn't very close to here. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go back down there, and the door's opened, and Sophia's like, oh, this is like an old smuggler's den. This is crazy. And there's all like pots of spices and shit laying around. And you go to the end and there's like 3 chests, right?
Yeah.
So you open them up, you get parts, whatever. But then there's another chest, and Amicia's like, oh, what is this? And Hugo's like, oh, it looks like armor, Amicia. Put it on, put it on. And it was like a bracer that you actually get a new piece of gear.
Oh.
So I got a new thing for my gear, and it's a bracer. And now if I get attacked, I'm not stunned as long.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can't upgrade it or anything, but it's on that upgrade menu.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, oh, shit, a piece of gear. That's crazy. But as you go through the chapter, there's clues to how to do the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find like little symbols and stuff. But even with the symbols I found, I couldn't figure out like the answer. I just lucked upon the answer. Because you go into this one barn by the beach, and there's like a swirl on the wall you see. And then there's a number. IV is on the wall, like 4, Roman numeral 4. And then there was another one. Where exactly was it? There was like a little rock formation where there was like a windmill. There's 4 rocks in the ground, and one of the rocks had a windmill carved on it. But those are the only clues I could find. So I don't even know if there's more clues that I missed or whatever. But I mean, I lucked out and I opened it. So I got this little piece of gear or whatever.
I didn't find any clues because like,
yeah, you were like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Second. I'm like, nah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just gonna follow these birds and get the frig out.
Yeah, that's crazy. How did when you had to burn the little grass in that one ancient arena thing? How did that look? 4 frames a second, or even worse?
It's
about the same.
That,
yeah. You follow the birds and you come to like an old they call it an arena, but it's like a grandstand basically.
Yeah, an amphitheater.
Yeah. You burn the grass and the little alchemist logos on the ground, and somehow Sophia's like, oh, well, obviously that these symbols mean this, and we have to go up the mountains over there.
Yeah, right.
It's like, okay, but they showed the mountains, and it had like it looked very awesome with the mountains, and then there's the carved into the mountainside like temple. It looked super cool. So I was like, hell yeah, I want to go up there. So then we have to go up the mountain. We can make it most of the way up, but then it's like, sorry, gate's closed. You have to take the old goat path. Did you free the goat?
Yeah, I freed the goat.
Yeah,
there's a goat. But it's funny because Hugo's talking about it screaming.
Yeah.
He's all scared of it. I'm like, oh, yeah, you had done the thing where the goat screamed at him and scared him. I'm like, I didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that, if he was going to talk about screaming goats.
Yeah, he still talked
whatever.
about the screaming goats.
It took me a couple seconds, like a minute to figure out what I had to do, because I'm like, okay, there's grass I can sneak in, but why would I sneak in this grass? And I'm like trying to look behind to see where I got to go. And then I was like, oh, I bet you I can burn this grass. And the grass burnt for a long time. So I can only imagine how long it burnt for you.
I mean, it was still probably the same amount of time.
Oh, just in only 4 frames a second?
Yeah, just in 4 frames a second.
Yeah, it burnt a long time. And I was like, holy fuck, is it ever going to go out? But you send Hugo through the crack, and then the goat won't budge. He just stands there.
Yeah.
But eventually we get to the top where it's like there's all guards, and Amicia's like, well, I can't kill any of these guys. We have to sneak. And Sophia's like, I have a gem. I can set the grass on fire, a prism. So if you tell me where to set the grass on fire, it'll distract them and we can get through. So I was like, all right. So I'd set some grasses on fire and sneak through. The guards were pretty stupid, but
this is where I stopped playing.
Oh yeah,
was before we even did the sneak part. So I'm like, I'm not doing this part at 4 frames.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta figure out what the hell's going on. And then it was like, oh yeah, you
okay.
can.
So basically, you just sneak through here, and even when I got the guards on high alert by burning the grass too many times, because they would be like, someone's screwing with us, and they'd all start patrolling, I got through without being spotted. I did do did a little look around and got some parts and stuff like that, but I was just like kind of going my way through there, no problem. Even when they spotted me, they'd come over the grass and I just stand at the other end of the grass and they wouldn't find me. So I don't know if they toned it down because it was so annoying that you couldn't fight the guys or what.
Yeah.
But when you get up to the temple, you have to follow them through the temple, like they're doing their little ceremony. And yeah, you can put on the mask and the robes so they can't tell it's you. And then you sort of join in the ceremony. And they have their cult they've all built around these. There's all the like alchemist symbols and shit.
Yeah.
And they've created their own cult around it. They don't know what it means. They just are like, they've interpreted it their own way. There was no human sacrifice. Like I thought they were going to burn somebody for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, they don't. The closest thing with the fire is like they have a little, their gobbledygook cult speech, and Hugo and Amicia sort of sit down, but they sort of lower their heads, and the Countess and the Count are like, oh, you humble yourselves in front of us. You will be the ones to lead the way into the temple. So they give us the torch, and basically we have to walk through the water that puts the torch out, and then we go into this next room, and they relight the fire, and we're all supposed to blow on the fire, like... And Sophia's like, okay, I found a way to go. We better head out before they know. So we go through a doorway into like, it's like the living area where like the old kid with the macula used to live.
Oh.
And the old kid's like protector. So there's like a little kid's throne, and you go in the kid's bedroom, and there's like kids' toys, and you can like look at a little wooden horse that he played on, and Hugo, no, that wooden horse, Amicia, that was fun. And Hugo's all like bummed out because like they see the phoenix is on the wall, but the alchemist logo is in the phoenix. So they're like, oh, there's no actual phoenix. That's just a symbol for the alchemist. And Hugo's all bummed out because in one of the frescoes, the alchemist symbol is above the child, so they didn't care about the child. They were just using the child. It's like, this kid's 4 years old and he figured this out from this piece of artwork. Like, come on. So we go through and they learn a bit about the cult or like the alchemists or whatever. How they were like, this was like a sort of like an observation area where they could like be above the kid and look down on him and stuff like that. And Hugo's all bummed out because he thought he was going to get a cure. But they find a notation about going to another area. So they're like, well, let's head out. And as they head out, the Count and Countess come in and they continue their ritual. And it's like a fertility ritual where they're talking about like, when the child comes, we will welcome into our hearts. And they're kind of walking around the above while they're doing their ritual. And they're sort of talking about what they're going to do next. And, Sophia's like, well, I owe you guys. I'll come with you. And we basically sneak out the temple through a waterway, and that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah, there you go.
So you didn't. It was almost all story stuff that you missed, basically. I would recommend going. Well, you're gonna have to play.
Yeah,
it,
I have to play through it anyway.
But this was like the first chapter, I think, in this one where you didn't have any fighting, just straight up sneaking.
There you go. Sneaking and puzzle solving. Let's go.
I like this chapter just because it was a change of pace.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I wish I would have found more clues about the like windmill puzzle, but I only found the 2, and the 2 was not enough there. And I just got lucky somehow, where I randomly chose the correct 2 to turn on, and it was like, okay, there you go.
When I was going through this area, I was like, oh, look at this nice little area that we're gonna mess up, and look at all these people that we're gonna have to kill.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to. The people are all weird and everything, but I don't think we're gonna have to do anything to them.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
You think so?
This whole area is gonna get messed up.
Yeah, it was
And I
pretty
think
idyllic.
It was very idyllic and very serene and peaceful.
Yeah.
And everyone was happy. And I'm like, you're all dead.
It was
You're all going to die.
It was weird when you get towards like the gate to go to the beach. There's all these like market stalls set up there, and I was like, why the fuck would they carry all their shit down here
right?
to set up a market stall? Very weird to me. I guess it's because it's nearby where the little festival tree is, I guess. But it was like very weird, anyways.
And we haven't met our antagonist yet.
Well, for the whole game, or just
there's no like main bad dude.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's just been a bunch of little bad
we
dudes.
didn't know like about what's his name in the first game
bishop
till
or
like
whatever?
halfway through, I think.
Yeah.
It was just like we're being chased by the bad guys.
Well, we're there now.
This one is like we're not being chased. We're doing the chasing.
Yeah.
We want to get to the point.
Yeah.
But I mean, is the bad guy not Arnaud now?
I don't know. He was the bad guy, but now he's in jail. So
yeah, but he's pissed off at us.
yeah, are we gonna bust him out? Is he gonna bust out?
Yeah,
Are we
I
gonna
don't know.
bust him out? Is he gonna be a friend again? Who knows?
Who knows? Be interesting to see where it goes, anyways.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
It was a lot of like just checking out things in this one. Nice, like leisurely hike. And as I was doing it, I was like, man, I'd love to hike here. This would be great. Looks so nice and dry,
Oh yeah, for sure.
which I like.
No rats either.
Yeah. Why can't he just live on this island? I think he could.
Yeah, how would the rats even get there?
Not
They
by
bore
boat.
through the earth.
By boat.
Bore through the earth under the ocean.
But like he controls the rats. Couldn't he just like, I don't know, force them off the cliff into the ocean?
Probably.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a little annoying in this one, but not that much.
He was just a kid.
Yeah. I mean, he is just a kid, but he seems to know a lot about art history.
Yeah.
So.
He sure does.
Anyways.